गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं च शनीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्लीं ह्लीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Can everyone say Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, we are in the second half of the 12th house, 12th Lord. Yayeshe, the verse is in chapter 24 of Santanam version. The verse is 139. Yayeshe dara bhavasthe yayi dara kratah sada tasya bharya sukham naiva bala vidya vivarjitah. Yayeshe dara bhavasthe. If the 12th Lord is in the 7th house, Vyayo Dara Krutas Sada. Vyayo means expenditure. Dara Krutas Sada, done by spouse basically. Lot of expenses on account of the spouse. Always. Sada means always. So always there are a lot of expenses on account of spouse. This is very similar to what we have seen earlier with the 5th house, 4th house, etc. Wherever the 12th Lord is, he will give expenses relating to that matter. If he is in the 5th house, the planet's original agenda is to give some expense, make you lose something. And if he is in the 5th house, the resources he has access to are children, things relating to children. Similarly, in the 7th house, things that are accessible to the planet are things relating to the wife. If he basically puts an application saying this is for wife, then it will be granted. But he has expense at the back of his mind, so he will say, I want to give an expense on account of wife, and then it will be sanctioned. Tasya bharya sukham naiva. For him, there is no happiness from wife. Why is there no happiness with wife? Why is there no happiness with wife? How do you see happiness from wife from? Where do you see it from? Why? We are not saying wife's happiness, the person's happiness. It is basically from the 7th house. 7th house is wife, also everything relating to wife. So to see how happy the marital life is, how happy his conjugal bliss is, you have his or her, you have to see the 7th house as Lagna. So from 7th house, the 6th Lord is in Lagna. Is it good for 6th house is the house of quarrels, and 6th Lord in Lagna is never really a great combination. It means a lot of fight, etc. And we are talking about a house, a reference which shows marital happiness, and there a Dusthana Lord is there. So it's not really a pleasant combination for marital happiness. Bala vidya vivarjitaha. Now he is deviating from the 7th house matters. He is talking about other things. Bala vidya vivarjitaha. Bala means strength. He has no strength, he is weak. Vidya vivarjitaha. He is devoid of vidya, learning, scholarship. He doesn't have much scholarship, and he is not strong.
Strong in physically.
He doesn't say what kind of strength. We will assume it's physical strength, and does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, we will see what else is possible. But in general, if he doesn't say what kind of strength, he typically talks about physical strength. So why is he weak physically? Why is he weak physically?
Well, if he is in 7th house, his
Lagna. Yes, absolutely. Strength and overall physical vitality is from Lagna and third house. So Lagna is being aspected. So planet in seventh house, don't forget that they aspect Lagna. So this planet is aspecting Lagna. Is the aspect of that planet on Lagna good or bad? Bad, because he is 12th lord. He is the lord of the house of losing, loss, weakness. 12th house is the house of compromise from the Lagna. So it basically shows giving up or losing some physical element. So from that point of view, his aspect on Lagna is indicating some weakness, some physical problem. Now why Vidya Vivadhita? Why doesn't he have learning? What is the problem with scholarship? Why is he not a scholar? Okay, from the fifth house of scholarship, this is the eighth lord. Okay, eighth lord. So he is aspecting. Yeah. So Lagna is basically the intelligence. So instead of looking at the fifth house, which can also show intelligence, Lagna is the center. It is the basic intelligence of the person. And Lagna being aspected by the 12th lord means he is not that intelligent. Now from the point of view of scholarship itself, the fifth house, this planet is an Upajaya. Actually Upajaya from the house of scholarship is not really bad, but he is the 8th lord. So the thing is, the planet who's kept in charge of accumulating scholarship, he is the one who wants to break scholarship. But at the same time, on the positive side, it can give scholarship relating to 8th house matters. This person can be interested in occult knowledge and he can be into occult. That is a possibility. Follow me? Yes, but the thing is, Viparita Raj Yoga is not always a desirable thing. For certain things, it is not all. For all things, it is not a great thing. It is not a great combination. For certain things, Viparita Raj Yoga is not really. When you are talking about scholarship, learning, it doesn't suddenly see money. Suddenly one day you can get money, but scholarship, you have to work hard basically. Certain things will come only if you work hard. So suddenly it is possible that suddenly somebody blesses you. Okay, may you be a great scholar and you are like Kalidas. But that kind of examples are rare. In general, scholarship is something that you work hard and accumulate. It's not something that suddenly happens. You struggle, you are a dumb person, and suddenly one day you are intelligent. It doesn't happen that way. Whereas money matters, it can happen. You may be struggling. You may be a struggling actor. Suddenly one day you may get a really cool part, and it may make you a household name. That kind of things are possible in other areas of life, but not really in scholarship. So Viparita Raj Yoga doesn't really apply, but being the 8th lord in the third house of accumulation, he doesn't really bode well for scholarship, accumulating scholarship. But the person can be an accumulator of occult scholarship. That is a possibility. The next verse is 140. व्यये से मृत्युभावस्थे जातो लाभान्वितः सदा प्रियवांग मध्यमायुश्च संपूर्ण गुण संयुतः. If the 12th lord, व्यये से मृत्युभावस्थे, if the 12th lord is in the 8th house, jato labhanvitah sada, a person born will be sada, always labhanvitah. He is endowed with profits. He is accompanied by profits. He is very lucky basically. He has a lot of profits. Priyavang madhyamaya. Priyavang means after sandhi it becomes priyavang, but it's basically priyavak. Priyavak means somebody who speaks nicely, a nice speaker. Madhyamayuscha, he has medium life, not very long life, but at the same time not a short life, medium life. Sampurna guna samyutaha, he has all kinds of good qualities. So this is a good combination. Okay, let's parse each of them. If the, that is also possible. It is absolutely possible. Now, vyayase vrijabhavasthe jato labhanvita sada. Why is he always lucky? Why is he profitable? Well, the house of losses, the Lord is in the house of struggle basically. So the thing is basically like -1 times -1 is 1 basically. Two negatives make a positive. So the thing is, the person whose agenda is to give losses is told to struggle. Basically, he is struggling. So he is struggling to give losses. So there aren't too many losses, and on the contrary, there may be profits. Priyavak, he is very soft spoken. Why is he soft spoken? Swami? Speech, which house do you see? Second house. So does this planet aspect second house? Right, that is why. So he controls the speech. In what way? What is the agenda of the planet? 12th Lord. Does he give aggressive speech or soft and humble speech? 12th house, what does it show? It shows humility. 12th house is not the house of aggression. 3rd, 6th, these are the houses of aggression, asserting yourself. 12th is the house of being low. So the Lord of the house of humility is having an aspect on the house of speech. So he is a soft spoken person. He is not really a. See, actually, if you go back to verse 134, if the 12th Lord is in the second house, then also he says Priyavadi, somebody who speaks very sweetly and nicely. So the thing is, it is second house as well as 8th house, both giving the result, because 8th house is aspecting second house simply. It has a Grahdrishti on the second house. You could extend this to Rashi Drishti, Argala, so many other things. Okay. Now, so him being a Priyavak or Priyavadi is fine. Madhyamayu. Why is he Madhyamayu? Why does he have a medium span of life? Eighth house is the house of longevity, right? Okay. Yeah, from the 8th house of longevity, he is the 5th Lord in 8th house. So 8th house is not really weekend. But the thing is, the thumb rule is, basically 8th house is the house of longevity. Planets in the 8th house decide how long the person lives. Of course, it's a thumb rule. The strength of the 8th Lord, so many things have to be considered. But just as a thumb rule, look at the strength of the planets who are in the 8th house to see the length of the life. If the planet is a functional benefic, like a trine lord or a quadrant lord, etc., then he has long life. If the planets in the 8th house are neutral planets, they are neither benefic nor malefic, then it's medium life. If the planets in 8th house are malefic planets, functionally malefic from Lagna, then it is short life. This is just a thumb rule, basic classification. So from that point of view, 12th Lord is neither malefic nor benefic, right? 2nd, 12, these are neutral houses. 2, 8 and 12. 3, 6 and 11 are malefic houses. And quadrants are 4, 7, 10, 1. And trines are 1, 5, 9. So from that point of view, 2nd Lord, 8th Lord, 12th Lord, these are all neutral planets. Especially 8th Lord in 8th is actually a good yoga. But 12th Lord and 2nd Lord, their being in the 8th house, is neutral. So he is not bad for longevity basically. Let me put it that way. But at the same time, he is not really a great planet for Lagna, because he wants to destroy Lagna. I mean, he wants to, being the 12th Lord from Lagna, he is not benefic to Lagna. At the same time, he is not that malefic either. So that is why you can say. But the thing is, this is a thumb rule. This is absolutely unreliable. You cannot make a prediction based on this. Sampurna Guna Samyutaha. He is endowed with all kinds of qualities. Why? Why does he get all kinds of good qualities? What kind of qualities is he talking about? Intelligence, dharma, what is he talking about here? Virtues? What is he talking about? What are the qualities being talked about here? What virtues? There he has all kinds of virtues, all kinds of qualities. How do you see virtue of a person? So from 9th house, how is this planet placed? 4th Lord in 12th, is it good or bad? 4th Lord in 12th. One Moksha Trikona Lord in another Moksha Trikona. Basically, forget 9th house as a reference, okay? Take the 4th from 9th as reference. 9th is dharma. 4th is the direction, the path. So the 12th house basically is the direction, the clarity in dharma, the clarity of what my duty is. Ninth house is your duty, what you have to do, the right job for you. And fourth house is the clarity. If the 12th house has weakness, then the person's, he may be a dharmic person, but he doesn't know what his dharma is. He may want to do good, but he doesn't know what is the right thing for him to do. So the thing is, from that point of view, 12th house is important for seeing the direction of dharma, what you have to do, seeing the right and wrong. Now, from that house, the Lord is in. I'm taking the 12th house as Lagna now. The 4th from 9th as Lagna. Okay. From that house, this planet is in 9th house. Lagna Lord in 9th house. Is Lagna Lord in 9th house a good placement? Yes. So what does it indicate? Basically, there is some Lagna Lord in 9th house shows some bhagya, some punya from the past guiding. Basically, there is some divine guidance. In what matter? Not in dharma, but in the clarity and direction in terms of dharma. So the thing is, the person has very clear idea about what is right and what is wrong, what he has to do, what he should avoid. There is a very clear direction. So from that point of view, he is a very dharmic person.
We can look at it from 4th from 9th, and we said this.
Yeah.
But we could also say that just not considering 9th starting point as 9th.
Yeah.
Consider 12th as a starting point. He is the Lagna Lord in 9th.
Yes.
Then the dharmic aspect of the 12th house will get accomplished, or he is blissful from that aspect.
Yes, that is a very good point. So he is saying from the 12th house as Lagna, the Lagna Lord being in 9th house. So he is saying basically the dharma of the 12th house. 12th house is the house of being selfless. 12th house is an important house for being selfless and for moksha basically. So that house is blessed. That house there is a strong sense of dharma relating to that house. So the thing is, the person he is a very selfless person. So from that point of view, you can say he is a very virtuous person. He is a very selfless person. He knows, he is guileless person. He knows what he has to do. He will do that. The next verse is Jayeshe bhagya bhavasthe gurudveshi bhave naraha mitrairapi bhaved vairam swartha sadhana tatparaha. Jayeshe bhagya bhavasthe. If the 12th Lord is in the 9th house, gurudveshi, hater of guru, he hates his guru. Bhave naraha, person will become. Mitrairapi bhaved vairam, even with friends, bhaved vairam, enmity will happen. Swartha sadhana tatparaha, he will always be interested in his own well-being. He is a selfish person. So the basic results are, he hates his guru, he has enmity with friends also, and he is a selfish person. These are the 3 readings for 12th Lord in the 9th house. Of course, you could give many other readings like he goes abroad, etc. Right? If the 12th Lord is in the 9th house, we have many combinations where the person will be going abroad, etc. Okay. Now, why is he Gurudveshi? Why does he hate his guru? Ninth house is the house of guru, and there is a bad planet there. Okay, but why does he have a tiff with guru?
Actually be good, because considering 9th house as Lagna,
Okay.
he is the 4th Lord in Lagna.
So for guru, basically, if you want to give a reading to guru will have all kinds of conveyances, etc. But for natives, attitude towards guru, what is important is, how do you see the native's attitude towards guru? That is from 9th house itself. Now the thing is, the planet 12th Lord is there. So don't judge the 12th Lord from 9th. Judge him from Lagna only to see what he represents, what the planet represents from the point of view of the native's mind. So 12th house, what does it show? 12th house shows losses. It shows humility also, right? It shows humility, right? You are absolutely right. It shows humility on the positive side, and it shows losses, unhappiness, like your 12th house is also unhappiness. It is basically the house of loss, and hence not being very happy that you have a.
Giving up a part of you for Guru is something to be very good.
Yes, actually that is also possible. Like she said, 12th house is humility. So 12th Lord in Lagna, 12th Lord in 9th house can also make you a humble servant of your Guru. Because the planet's agenda is to make you humble, make you give things away. And he is in the house of 9th house, so he is told to take care of Guru and Dharma and religion. So the person can be a humble servant of Guru. That is also possible. That is definitely a possibility. Now Parashara is stressing the negative possibility. And how is the negative possibility possible? 12th house is not only the house of losses and humility, it is also the house of compromises. So the 12th Lord can leave a lingering displeasure in the person's mind, and dissatisfaction in the person's mind. 12th house is not a house of satisfaction. It is a house of feeling that you lost something, you are missing something. Basically, it is a house of missing something. So the Lord can give, depending on who the planet is, how the relationships are. The planet can give a lingering feeling of missing something. So if that planet is in the 9th house, he can have that dissatisfaction from Guru, that he is missing something. So from that point of view, that can make him not like his Guru. That is a possibility. Now why does he have? Yes, it is possible for father also. Yes, and religion, so many other things shown by 9th house, boss at the work, etc. Mitrairavi bhaved vairam. Even with friends there will be enmity. Why is there enmity with friends? Why is there enmity with friends?
Because it is the friends you will see from 7th house.
Okay. 7th or 11th? 7th and 11th. 11th especially for friends, close friends, and 7th people that you know.
Because I said that because when you say enmity with friends, it is more to do with interaction with people.
Okay.
So from that angle, you are going with 7th rather than.
Okay, fine.
Maybe
Go ahead.
Is maybe a loose word.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, he may have meant in many different ways. So we'll see which one makes sense. Now, why does he have enmity with friends?
Then it is a 6th Lord in 3rd house and 7th.
Yeah, 6th Lord?
In 3rd from 7th.
Yeah, 6th Lord in 3rd. So what does it mean? 6th Lord in 3rd from 7th. What does it show? So 7th, let's say, is friends and people that you associate with, your partners, etc. So this planet is the 6th Lord, and he is in the 3rd house. What does he show?
Give some. As a 6th Lord, from there he can show some quarrels and fight with enmity with
Okay.
those people. But why in 3rd house?
Why in 3rd house? Why not in some other house? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you are taking 11th house for friends. Okay. And then 2nd Lord, Maraka, fine.
He is in the 11th house in fulfillment
Okay.
with respect to friends,
Okay.
and therefore is creating some kind of. That is what I mean.
Okay. So being a Maraka in the 11th house, he may give some obstruction to the gains of the friends. But why is there quarrel with friends? Why is there quarrel with friends? See, he is saying Vairam. Vairam means enmity. Why?
Some kind of 6th house association.
Yes. So why don't you try from the 6th house? 6th house of enmity as Lagna.
Then he is 7th Lord in 4th.
Yeah, 7th Lord in 4th. Is it a good combination or a bad combination?
That's good actually.
It's a good combination. It's a very good combination. 7th house is a lot of interactions, and the Lord being in 4th house. 4th house is the house of direction. So the thing is, there are a lot of interactions, and there is a clear direction. To what? To 6th house. Quarrel. So the thing is, bottom line is, even earlier what we said about Guru Dveshi, etc. This is a fundamental factor. This planet is well placed from the 6th house of enmity, so he can give a lot of enmities. and with the planet being the 7th lord from 6th, it can be with friends basically. Being in the 4th house, there is a clear direction. Now, why is he selfish? Swartha sadhana tatra. He is a selfish person. Why is he a selfish person? Why is he self-possessed? Where does the selfishness come from?
He said selfish when he's in 8th house also.
We didn't say that.
Not 8th house.
Why is he selfish? Yes, 12th house is the house of giving, right? That is a possibility, right? Okay, it is a possibility. What else? How about the 3rd house of drive and initiative? Because see, selfishness is basically from Lagna. Lagna can show selfishness, and also 3rd house. 3rd house shows the drive of the person. The thing is, the word exactly used doesn't necessarily show selfishness, but he is basically very highly self-driven. That is also possible. Now, taking the 3rd house, how is this planet placed? Is he well placed or badly placed? 3rd house of initiative, the 10th lord of work is in the 7th house of interactions. So, he will basically interact a lot and get the work done. For what matter? For 3rd house matter. 3rd house is initiative and basic drive. So, the thing is, the person, this planet shows a strong drive in the person to get things done. So, the thing is, this Swartha Sadhana Tattva doesn't necessarily mean somebody who is selfish, but somebody who is very driven in achieving what he wants to do. It may be for him, or it may be for his guru, or it may be for his wife, but he is somebody who is very driven. So, that is how I will interpret it, instead of saying he is a selfish person.
You said he is what? He is in some 3rd house?
From the 3rd house of determination and drive, it is the 10th lord in the 7th house. 10th lord shows karma and 7th lord shows interactions. So, there is a link between Kama Trikona and Artha Trikona. So, for his work, whatever needs to be done, he will go and talk to all the people basically. He will interact with all the people.
Doesn't that explain for why selfishness?
No, I'm not saying, that is why I'm saying, I'm saying, he's not saying he's selfish. He's saying somebody who will move heaven and earth to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. So, if he takes a sankalpa, I need to do this, he will do whatever needs to be done to get that rolling basically, get the ball rolling. If he thinks of something, the ball will definitely roll. So, that is that is what I will interpret Swartha Sadhana Tattaraha as. Swa Artha doesn't necessarily mean selfishness, it means what he wanted to do basically. Swa, self, Artha means purpose, your purpose, what you want to do. Sadhana means achieving. In achieving what you set out to do, Tattaraha. Somebody who is very keen on achieving what he wanted, what he set out to do. So, basically somebody with a very powerful 3rd house, strong 3rd house of initiative, he doesn't give up things. Somebody who doesn't give up. That is also an possible interpretation of the term. And the thing is, if I want to interpret the term as selfish, it doesn't really gel well with the combination. I can't really explain it. But if I interpret it this way, the 3rd house is really powerful, so he can be somebody who
So that will be
takes a lot of initiative.
combination for 3rd lord in 9th also.
For me,
Similar combination for 3rd lord in 9th place.
third lord in 9th is a good combination because 3rd lord is aspecting 3rd. He will have a good initiative. What?
Will have a similar
Yes,
combination.
yes. Now the next verse is Vyayese Rajya Bhavasthe Vyayo Rajakulad Bhavet Pitritopi Sukham Tasya Swalpameva Hi Jayate. Vyayese Rajya Bhavasthe, the 12th lord is in the 10th house. Vyayo Rajakulad Bhavet. There will be expenses on account of royal family or royal people. Pitritopi Sukham Tasya Swalpameva Hi Jayate. And also there will be very little paternal bliss. There will not be much happiness from father. Okay. Now why? Let us parse each of them. First, why is there expenses on account of royal family?
What is it exactly?
Tenth is your work, etc. Your profession, your work, your society, activities in society. Suppose in the old days you were basically working in a king's court or something. This doesn't necessarily mean you go and donate money to the king. It is basically on account of king you are spending money. It can mean you have to basically. Suppose I am working at a small merchant's house as an accountant. I don't have to dress up nicely. Suppose I am working at a king's court. I have to dress up nicely. I have to wear certain kind of clothes. Like for example, people who are working in a professional bank, etc. They may have to wear a nice suit. There may be certain shoes required. Whereas somebody like me who works in high tech, he can just go in shorts like this. Nobody cares what I wear. So the thing is, if the 12th lord is in the 10th house, you have some expense. The planet wants to give expense, being in the 12th house. And being the 12th lord, his agenda is to give expense. Being in the 10th house, he wants to do something for career, something for the work of the person. So he may spend money on account of his work, basically. That is all he's saying. Rajkulat Deya doesn't necessarily mean he goes and donates money to the prince or princess. They don't need money. What it means is because of his associations, relating to his work, he will have to spend money. So he has to go to king's court, so he has to wear nice clothes, wear nice perfume, etc. Or he is working in a nice office or working at some place which has some requirements, so he has to spend some money, get some nice, maybe based on where he works, maybe he has to go in a nice car. He can't go in his Honda Civic. To that place you can only go in BMW or things like that, basically. So there is a lot of expenses relating to his career.
More than earning.
Not necessarily more than earning. He doesn't say that. It may not be more than earning, but he has to spend a higher percentage of money of his earnings on his maintenance in the work rather than other people.
I have my 10th lord in 12th.
Okay.
12th lord in 10th.
I see.
One of them.
One of them, I see. That's the key. The next verse is, the next line is, Pitrudovi sukham tasya swalpameva jayate. He doesn't have much happiness from father. Why? How do you see happiness from father? Ninth house. And why do you say this planet is not really giving happiness? How does this planet show not much happiness from father?
I think from 9th.
He has Argala on the 9th house. Happiness from father, of relationship with father. And he is the 12th lord of loss, dissatisfaction. So the thing is, because a planet who shows dissatisfaction or not fully being fulfilled, that planet having Argala on the 9th house does show not being happy with father. The next verse is, Jaye che labha bhavasthe labhe hanih prajayate pareణ rakshitam dravyam kadachillabhe narah. Jaye che labha bhavasthe. The 12th lord is in the 11th house. Labhe hanih prajayate means there is not much gains. There are problems in getting gains. Why? It is very straightforward. The planet whose agenda is to give losses is told to give profits. So profits will not be smooth. There will be some losses now and then. There won't be much profits. He will be draining out profits. He is not only the planet of lord of losses. He is not only the lord of the house of losses. He is marka from 11th house of gains. Of course, losses are marka to gains. So marka being in Lagna is not really good for Lagna. So there will not be much gains. There will be some problems in gains. Pareణ rakshitam dravyam kadachil labdhe naraha. Pareణ rakshitam dravyam. Dravyam means money or materials. Pareణ rakshitam. Saved by others. Protected by others. Kadachil labdhe naraha. Kadachil means sometimes. Labdhe naraha. Obtains the person. The person sometimes obtains money saved by others. Money protected by others. So somebody else is actually saving some money nicely and he sometimes suddenly gains it. Why is that possible? So basically he is getting money without effort. Somebody else's effort, he is enjoying the fruit sometimes. Why? Why is that the case?
Other 7 things, can we take 8th house? Because
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
second from 7.
If you take the 7th house as other people, the 8th house is other people's money. Okay? Do that?
Other accumulation is 8th house.
Yeah, other accumulation is 8th house. So, what is the relation with this combination, 12th Lord, 11th?
I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, see, you are actually on the right line. Just have to do one additional thing, you are all set. You are on the right line. He said Parena, he didn't specifically say what kind of person. Is it somebody who he closely knows or somebody he just knows? He didn't say. But instead of taking the 7th house for other people, can you take 11th house for other people that you know well, like your friends? Right? So if you take 11th house of friend as Lagna, this planet is second lord. Second lord from 11th house, just like second lord from 7th house. He shows money of friends. This is accumulation of other friends. Accumulation of people you know well. Your friends. Now that planet in the 11th house of gains of the native shows that he may gain from the accumulated wealth of his friends sometimes. So he may be suddenly, it's not that he is stealing, but one of his friends may actually give him some money and help him. One of his friends from his big bank balance may write a small check to this person and this person may use that money. That is a possibility. Absolutely. See, that is an intelligent extrapolation. 11th house is not just friends. It is also elder brother. So he can actually benefit from elder brother also. Elder brother's money. That is a clear possibility. Very good. Excellent. The last one. With this we finish the 12 houses. Finally. And then there are 4 more verses, I think general verses. We will do them next class. Yaye che vyaya bhavasthe vyayadhikyam hi jayate. Yaye che vyaya bhavasthe vyayadhikyam hi jayate. Na sharira sukham tasya krodhi dveshaparo nrunam. Yaye che vyaya bhavasthe. The 12th lord is in the 12th house. Vyayadhikyam hi jayate. There will be a lot of expenses. Na sharira sukham tasya. There is no physical happiness for the person. Krodhi, he is angry. Dveshaparo bhave. Dvesha means resentment to other people. Exactly. Resentment and enmity to other people. Nunam. In general, towards people, he is very resentful towards people. Angry and resentful, and he is not happy, and he has lot of expenses. Okay. First of all, why lot of expenses? Straightforward. 12th lord in 12th. 12th house is the house of expenses. Lord in the same house. So, a lot of expenses. Now, na sarira sukham dasya. There is no happiness. There is no physical happiness. Why? Because 12th house is so strong. 12th is the house of moksha, but at the same time, for lagna, for body, it is not good. It is basically some losses, some compromises that the body has to make. So he is not that happy with he is not physically very happy, physically very lucky. His physique is not strong. Krodhi, why is he angry? Yes. Krodhi and Dveshi, he has enmity to people. Dveshaparo Nunam. In general, towards people, he is inimical to people, and he is angry. Why is he angry and inimical? 6th house is the center of all those emotions. 6th house is the house of sense of enmity towards people, how much you hate others. So, from that house, 7th lord is in 7th house. It's a very good combination. It's not only, see, 6th lord will show, 6th house will show enmity, 7th house will show interactions related to enmity. So, he is not only angry with people, he makes it a point to tell people, I hate you, you are a bad person, you are not doing it right, like that basically. So, there are a lot of interactions relating to 6th house, relating to hatred, so relating to enmity. So basically, and also this planet aspects the 6th house. So in general, there is a lot of enmity. There is boiled up emotion of enmity basically towards in general world. So that is the thing. But at the same time, this is not all. This is a yoga called Vimal Yoga, right? We talked about it earlier. Just like 6th Lord in 6th is Harsha Yoga, 12th Lord in 12th is Vimal Yoga, because 12th is also the house of humility. So if the planet is strong, if he doesn't like 6th house that much, like he may be an enemy. For example, in other words, this planet may be, let's say, Pisces Lagna, Saturn in 12th house. Then 6th house is Sun's house. Even though Saturn aspects that house, he has nothing to do with that house. He doesn't really want to give any results relating to that house. So he will work more like 12th Lord. Moreover, he is Saturn. He shows humility. So he will be humble and he will be very nice to people. So that is also possible. Vimal Yoga may dominate over the results we have said just now. So that is a possibility. But what Parasara said is also a possibility. So with that we will end for today. And the remaining 4 verses on generally how to see various houses, after covering all the 12 houses, the lots of the 12 houses being in the 12 houses, Parasara gave some general guidelines. We will see them in the next class. So with that we will end for today. We will go to a practical example. If you guys can give me a computer and somebody turn on the projector if we need the projector. If we can manage with all the laptops we have, that's fine. I'll stop the recording. Okay, so we are back with the example. Okay, so we are going to see a chart. First I'll give you the data. April 20, 1972, 8:02 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT. Place is Proddatur, India. 78 degrees 33 minutes east, 14 degrees 44 minutes north. Proddatur, Proddatur, Proddatur. Okay. So Lagna should be 29 degrees 13 minutes Libra, very close to the end of Libra. And moon should be 8 degree 2 minutes in Cancer. Okay. Now let us see. There are some notes, chart notes. Let me read them. The lady is a lady's chart, and the name will be anonymous. She is an ME-ECE. Basically, that means Masters in Electronics Engineering, right? Electronics and Communications. So she has a Master of Engineering in Electronics and Communications Engineering. She is a gold medalist. So she has excellent academic credentials. She is a project lead. She was married in 1997 and she was divorced in 2005 after 8 years. Got engaged second time but cancelled in August 2009. So she got engaged again, but that is cancelled. Tried to commit suicide July 4th week. She tried to commit suicide. So this is before the marriage got cancelled, second marriage got cancelled. I know, but so...
Yeah, after that, after cancellation.
Oh, so cancellation is not in August 2009 then?
It's August, July only.
July only, okay, sorry. The marriage, second marriage was planned. She got engaged, but it was immediately cancelled in... When did she get engaged? Don't know.
It went for more than a year like that.
Okay, she got engaged and it went for more than a year.
Yeah,
Then it got cancelled sometime in July 2009, and when it got cancelled, she became depressed and she tried to commit suicide. Okay, I'll correct it. When will she get married? How will it be? Any kids? Okay. Does she have any kids from the first marriage? Okay.
And this chart we discussed 2 times in the past. One in the 2005 Boston conference. Second time in my 77 class.
Okay. Okay. Any interesting things we said? Any things we said earlier? If you can quickly refresh my, because I don't remember anything.
In the Boston, the conference, why the divorce was happened, was for money or kids.
Okay.
Some like senior people.
Okay.
They were saying that it could be because of money,
Uh-huh.
not because of kids or something.
I see.
So that was analysis that time they did.
Okay.
They,
But we didn't predict anything about future then.
kids are possible, they predicted. But when we don't know.
Okay.
77 class with nothing was clear.
Okay, let's see the chart now. This is unfortunate. So let us first try to rectify the time. Okay. So because did we rectify it before?
Yeah.
Okay, we apparently rectified it before, so we'll quickly walk through the steps then. Probably the time is right. Which dasha did we use earlier? Did we use the Chaturasi Samadasha or did we use Vimshotri? Okay, we'll just see 10th Lord is in the 10th house, right? Cancer. But the thing is, yeah, let's just Vimshotri should be good enough. Let's just stick to Vimshotri today.
And this is the second suicide round. One suicide round happened in November 2008.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me save that. July 4th week, 2009.
No, 2000, yeah.
And November 2008, first suicide attempt. So she tried to commit suicide
Because of depression.
due to depression. So she actually tried to commit suicide in November 2008 due to depression, and now with the marriage cancelled, she tried again in July 4th week. Okay, so we have to consult Primchamsa also with these multiple suicide attempts. There is something going on with her mind. So we have to see the Primchamsa. But let's see the marriage first. When did she get married? 97 and 2005 divorced. Okay, let us see 95. What dasha was it? Mercury. 97. So Mercury Jupiter gave marriage. Does it make sense? It makes perfect sense. Because the Navamsa, if you take the Navamsa, Mercury is Lagna Lord and Jupiter is 7th Lord in 3rd house. So it makes perfect sense. So Mercury Jupiter giving marriage makes sense. Now why divorce in 2005? She got divorced in 2005, right? Ketu Mahadasha came in 2001. So probably from 2001 itself some kind of fight would have started, because Ketu is the 6th Lord. 6th Lord in the 4th house of happiness, marital bliss. So there is no happiness from the marriage. There are a lot of quarrels in the Navamsa, I am saying. So there are a lot of quarrels, etc. So that is unfortunate. 2005, it is either Rahu or Jupiter Antardasha, probably Rahu Antardasha, but we'll just leave it. Bottom line is, Dasha, Mahadasha itself is very unfavorable. So divorce in that period makes sense. Now,
And last time we looked at Venus-Mars combination in second house. There was
Yeah.
some connection there because during that time some Tithi Pravesha was happening.
Okay. Now, the Dasha running right now is Venus. Can Venus give a second marriage in this chart? How do you see second marriage in Navamsa? 7th house is first marriage. The 8th from there, which is second house. Second house will show second marriage. So Venus has the potential to give the second marriage. Right? The only problem is Venus strong there? He is okay. Cancer is not really, it's not a friendly sign, but it's okay sign. It's an okay sign for Venus. He is with Mars, who's in a friendly sign but who's debilitated. So there is a bit of problem with Mars there. Otherwise Venus is fine. So Venus Dasha, Venus Mahadasha, Venus Antardasha is running right now. So this does have potential to give a second marriage. So basically it cannot be ruled out now. Now, having said that, let us see Saptamsha. Is there a potential for children? The question was, is there a potential for children? Does this Saptamsha show potential for children?
She can't conceive actually.
Okay.
That was
So, okay, the additional information is she can't conceive. But let us see this Saptamsha. Does this Saptamsha have potential for children? There is Mars and Venus combination in Lagna. 5th house has Rahu. That's not that bad. It is not great, but it can show a lot of problems getting children after a lot of problems. It can show not having children also. It is Sarpadosha. It can show not having children or having children after a lot of trouble. There are some cases where Rahu is in the 5th house and there is delay in getting children, but after a lot of struggle and some remedies, finally there are children. That is possible with Rahu. But he is also Badhaka Lord here. He is not just Rahu, he is Badhaka Lord Rahu. So from that point of view, Rahu's placement is not that good. And Lagna having Mars and Venus is also not that good. Mars and Venus combination is not a great combination, they are enemies. And moreover, in a female chart, you see the 9th house. So if you see 9th Lord, how is he? He is in 12th house. But he is in own sign, but still he is in 12th house. It's not a great placement. So from these points of view, there are weaknesses in this chart. There are weaknesses in the Saptamsha. Let us go to Trimshamsha. She is going. What is going on with all these suicides? God. Because any person who has suicidal tendency has to have either Moon or Mercury affected by Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, etc. in the Trimshamsha. We have seen several suicidal charts earlier. Here, Moon is in the 12th house, the Karaka of mind, with Mercury, the Karaka of Buddhi. So, Manas and Buddhi are both in 12th house with Shani, Rahu and Ketu. This is a terrible combination. This is actually a very bad combination. The Trimshamsha is showing terrible depression basically. There is a scope for Saturn will give depression, Rahu will give anger, etc. So Rahu Ketu with Moon can give some anger also. So anger, frustration, depression, all these qualities are strongly there. So this is a problem. Now, why is this happening in this period? Why is she in depression in Venus Dasha? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? If you use Chaturthi Samadasha, which is applicable here, it is Mars Dasha that is running. The Antardasha is that of Jupiter. Again, that doesn't make sense. Should we see the Trimshamsha based Dasha, the Trimshamsha Paryaya Dasha, to see what's going on with respect to Trimshamsha? Why is the depression combination being activated right now? Let us go to the, what is it? Where is the Dasha? Paryaya Dashas, this one. Paryaya Dashas, by default it will find for D6. Let's go to D30. Right? So this is the Chara Paryaya Dasha because Lagna is a Chara Lagna in Trimshamsha. So if we take the D30 Chara Paryaya Dasha, what is the Dasha running right now? Yes?
This Dasha is used for what exactly?
Just like we probably we didn't see it before. We did see the Shashtamsha Paryaya Dasha earlier. The Paryaya Dasha show health problems. Yes. Earlier we saw it for D6. Now you can also do it for D30. Basically you take from the 6th house. 6th house from Lagna as the seed from there. So as per this Dasha also actually Ketugan Dasha is running. See, the Vimshotri Dasha is of Venus. The Chaturthi Samadasha is of Mars. The Paryaya Dasha is also that of Capricorn containing Venus Mars. So, quite honestly, it does seem like the results being given right now, because we checked 3 Dashas, it's not just one Dasha. 3 different Dashas, all showing Venus Mars combination as a problem. So, right now the results being experienced are that of Venus being with Mars. The Lagna Lord Venus in Trimshamsha as well as in Rashi being affected very closely by Mars. Actually, is Venus Mars combination very close? Oh my God. 22-13, 22-24. 22 degrees, 24 minutes is Mars, 13 minutes is Venus. So it's 11 minutes difference. So there is a Grahyuddha between Venus and Mars is losing. So that is the main problem. In the Rashi it is happening in the 8th house. So this is the main problem. That is, and in general, Moon being with Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, there can be depression, suicidal tendency, etc. But that is not really going on right now. In other words, when a Dasha will point towards Moon or Saturn or Rahu, one of those planets, when Vimshotri, Chaturthiti and Paryaya Dasha all point towards Virgo and those planets, things can be much worse. So basically, this is not the peak of a depressive tendency. This is actually not really that. Now anyway, coming back to the chart, Venus-Mars combination is the main problem. The Grahyuddha in which the Lagna Lord is losing, actually that is not really any worse than other bad combination that we have seen. If Lagna Lord is being defeated in a Grahyuddha, it is never a positive combination, right? If Lagna is basically a fundamental weakness in the chart. So basically there is her personality is not strong enough. Because Lagna Lord Venus, who represents the intelligence of the person, the basic personality, is being defeated in a Grahyuddha. Her personality can succumb to Mars sometimes. Frustration basically. Mars can give frustration. So she is more than depressed, I would say. She is frustrated with her life. She is also internally angry. Why is this happening to me? There is that anger, resentment, frustration that is boiled down in, that is basically, that is boiling in her. So all this is, why I am mentioning all this is, the remedy has to involve Venus and Mars. Basically, the problem is Venus-Mars combination. Now that we have recognized that, the remedy has to involve those. Now, what kind of remedy can we suggest?
Last time we seen about Vali Subramanya or Lakshmi Narasimha.
This is very good, yes. Mars can show Subramanya or Narasimha, and Venus and Mars so close can show especially a female wife along with wife. So Vali Subramanya or Lakshmi Narasimha. That is a good recommendation. We gave a good recommendation. Is she doing any of those? Is she or anybody relating to her? You are doing? Very good.
We have been to some Narasimha's temple.
Okay. Yeah, Mars is also with Saturn. How close is Saturn? Saturn is away, but there is Saturnine influence. Mercury has Argala on them. So Vishnu Avtara is perfectly fine. So Lakshmi Narasimha is perfectly fine. The only thing is, this issue is really a problematic issue. Like the planet is being defeated in a very close Graha Yuddha. So it has to be done intensely. Mars is in Sarpa Shashtyamsa. They are also in Sarpa Shashtyamsa, which is not a great Shashtyamsa for them to be in. Hopefully nobody is in Vrichabhaga. Nobody is in Vrichabhaga. Excellent. Good. So the thing is, what do we do about this? Actually, that's not a bad idea. Wearing a diamond is not a bad idea to strengthen Venus, because Venus is so badly defeated. Wearing a diamond can help. Yes, very good suggestion.
Because that is a physical thing and that has a
Yeah.
rajasic
Yeah.
influence, but
It will help.
that can
But the thing is, it won't solve the problem. The problem is so bad. See, Venus-Mars combination so close, like 10 seconds, 11 seconds apart. 11 arc minutes apart is very dicey. They are actually a very intense remedy has to be done. Somebody like basically sitting in the same place whole day, like that, basically sitting for a month, basically like 48 days in the same place, sit and then keep chanting Lakshmi Narasimha mantra just for her well-being. Something of that level, if it can be done, there will be relief for her. Basically the problem is very intense, and intense problem will not be solved if you just think of God for 5 minutes or 15 minutes every day. This is such an intense problem. The combination is so intense. Lagna Lord in the 8th house with the Maraka, that to an enemy, and so close, and being defeated. If Venus was winning, it would have been different. Still, Mars doesn't give up easily. If Mars were the loser in the Graha Yuddha, still the Martian trouble would be pinching Venus every now and then. But here Mars is the winner of the Graha Yuddha. Venus is the loser. Lagna Lord is the loser and Maraka is the winner. So that is really terrible. I'm not really sure what can be done, but some intense remedy has to be done. Somebody has to really take up her cause and spend a lot of time, basically devote as much time as one can, basically all the waking time, basically thinking of her and thinking of Lakshmi Narasimha. And then
would some tantric homam rituals by people who are everyday.
I'll tell you one thing. With tantric homam rituals, the so-called tantric homam rituals, the bottom line is nothing comes free. If a tantric homam ritual actually worked, which means the person who actually did it accumulated a lot of Shakti before, he's just using it up. And as a matter of fact, for somebody to actually get something done, the tantric homam ritual, because the person is used to it and his mind will think this will give the result. His mind associates the result with that sadhana. It is working through that sadhana. The thing is, if somebody has Shakti and wants to expend it, just a thought is enough. If somebody thinks of the God or the mantra with which he has a strong link, basically some siddhi, basically he has seen a God before, or he has experienced a mantra before, he has become one with the mantra before. Suppose that is the case. he just he just chants the mantra or think of the God and think a wish, it will happen. I can tell you that for sure. Even really complicated things that are very difficult things also can be achieved if one has enough Shakti. So the thing is, people think that just by doing a tantric ritual, a ritual where there are a lot of articles, basically tantric articles, some hep looking articles, things will happen. That is a misconception. I will actually go on to say that there are maybe very handful of people on earth today who can actually do a tantric ritual to solve a problem like this, just like that. There are very few people. Bottom line is, it's not the ritual that's doing it. It's actually somebody is spending a lot of time on that ritual in the past. Now he is actually invoking the ritual and getting the things done.
Not by anybody.
Yeah.
Somebody who.
Yeah. That way, it doesn't have to be tantric ritual. It can be any ritual. If you find some sadhaka with a lot of Shakti who is willing to use that Shakti for you, you are all set. If you find somebody like that, you are all set. But the thing is, somebody who has a lot of Shakti, why should he spend it on that person? He will spend it on that person if he sees that, okay, I have a Runa, I have to do it. Basically, people who have this kind of Shakti that we are talking about, they will be conscientious. They will not be showing off. They will be conscientious about doing the right thing. They will do either if they are fulfilling a Runa by doing this. They have before they become free, this Runa has to be cut off, so they are doing it. Or second possibility is, there are also people who don't really have too many Runas, but still who operate in the world, just do things as a part of nature, basically do things that nature wants from them. Such a person can, if he sees merit in this lady, for example, you free somebody from a big problem, and then she does lot of great things in the world. Lot of punya happens on her hands, and this is blocking her from doing that punya. Then it can be done. But the thing is, where will you find such a person who's willing to do it? So if you can find, excellent. If you can't, what I'm saying is, somebody, if not the lady, you or somebody, basically sit and spend hours together on this. Don't think that just by spending 15 minutes every day it will happen. If you can spend 2 hours every day, like I said, if somebody can actually sit in one place from sunrise to sunset, just taking a few breaks in the day for eating, for going to bathroom, etc., spend sunrise to sunset every day chanting some mantra of Narasimha. I don't care which mantra, because it doesn't matter. Even Shraum, just Bija is enough. Do something for Lakshmi Narasimha or Valli Subramanya, sunrise to sunset every day, like that. Sit in one place for 48 days with mind focused on this lady. I can almost assure you it will be done, irrespective of the stature of a person. I mean, the thing is, unless the person has some stature, he will not be able to do this sadhana. If somebody can do this sadhana, the problem will be solved. But the thing is, who will do? So if that is unrealistic, the problem is, unrealistic problems will have unrealistic solutions. I don't want to basically sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, it will be done, just do this. So the thing is, if that's unrealistic, do whatever is realistic for you, and God will solve the problem in realistic time. You can spend 2 hours every day chanting a Lakshmi Narasimha mantra.
Actually, I thought the other way.
Yes.
Lagna Lord Venus
Yes.
is with 6th Lord Saturn.
5th Lord, you mean.
5th Lord Saturn.
Yokarka Saturn, yes.
So, and the Mars 7th Lord in 8th is, that's because of that.
She's Maraka, yeah.
So the divorce happened because 7th Lord in 8th house. So not getting married because of Mars, I thought.
It's possible. Because in Navamsa also we saw that, in Navamsa also, the house of second marriage has Mars in it. And Mars, but the thing is, from the house of second marriage, Mars is actually Yokarka in that house. So I don't see Mars as a problem for breaking the second marriage. Even if you see the Rashi chart, right? If you see the Rashi chart, Mars is basically the second lord there. You don't do that in the Rashi, but you can do in the Rashi also. You can say 7th house is marriage, and he is the 7th lord as well as second lord. He can give marriage. I don't think Mars is the reason for blocking the second marriage, but Mars is the reason for all the frustration that she has to face. Mars basically, let me put it this way, Mars does not want to let her life go smoothly, because being a Maraka, he wants to kill the lady, and he is a clear Maraka. 7th Lord in 7th Lord in 8th house, 2nd Lord in 8th house. That's a clear cut Maraka combination. So Mars is a marker, no question. And being a marker, he wants her to die. No, I mean, getting second marriage, third marriage, he doesn't care about all those things. He wants the person to end life. And he wants to give anger, etc. And being in a Graha Yuddha with the Lagna Lord and defeating the Lagna Lord, he wants to kill her intelligence. He wants to defeat her intelligence. Lagna Lord is intelligence. Basically, ability to think straight, he will compromise it. So that is what Mars is doing. And why is he doing now? Because it is Venus Dasha. It is the Dasha of somebody who lost to him in war. So he comes and says, okay, I will give my results now. So that is the problem.
Is they both exchange their results now?
It's not, it's more than exchanging results basically. You lose, suppose a king loses in a war, his kingdom is the winners. So the thing is, if you,
So he gets to play.
he gets to play. He doesn't necessarily take good care of the kingdom, he can destroy the kingdom basically. So the thing is, if a planet is losing in a Graha Yuddha and his Dasha is running, the winner of the Graha Yuddha can do what he wants. He will basically, the time is like his time basically.
Another thing is, she should make sure that she is not wearing any coral or anything inside.
Red coral, absolutely avoid. Most likely, you would have already told her. That would have been a very crazy thing to do. Neelam is fine for her. Diamond is fine for her. As a matter of fact, diamond and Neelam together, blue sapphire and diamond together, wearing is not a bad idea, because even though they are far apart, they are like 11 degrees apart. And there is a Rajoga between Lagna Lord and 5th Lord, 4th Lord. So there is some hope there, Venus-Saturn combination. The only thing you have to do is get rid of Mars somehow. Another thing that can be done, yes.
In mental depression cases,
Yeah.
in cases of mental depression and of course which is not moon afflicted right now,
Yeah.
in case of mental depression cases, association and public interaction can help them overcome to some extent.
Yes.
In which case, in this chart,
Yeah.
Sun happens to be in the 7th house. So propitiating Andy is also 11th lord.
Yeah.
So propitiating Sun,
Yeah.
would it get her some good association, because 11th house also gains and friends, and being in 7th, can it get her some?
Sun is well placed. Sun is well placed in the chart,
So
and he is exalted, but he is also an exalted Bhaska Lord. But propitiating Sun, in my opinion, is not at all bad. It is perfectly fine.
if it can get her some new associations, new friends, that can help in.
That can help. Actually, I was just thinking, a thought came to me. 5 degrees, 1 degree, good. Just a thought came to me. Lagna Lord is Jupiter in Navamsa. Lagna is aspected by Venus, who is her Lagna Lord, and Lagna has Mars. So I just made a prashna. In the Rashi chart, the Lagna Lord Rahu is with Jupiter, right? And in the Navamsa, Lagna is owned by Mars and Venus is aspecting it. And her chart also basically Lagna is Venusian Lagna and Mars is with Lagna. So there is a Mars Venus. Here also Mars is aspecting Venus. So there is a link with between Navamsa and her case. Now let us see the Drekana. If you see the Drekana, the 7th house of marriage has Sun. The 7th house of marriage has Sun in one house. So basically, will there be marriage? That was my one question. So from the point of view of will there be marriage or not, Sun is basically showing that there will be marriage. And Venus aspecting it. Yokarka Venus, and Yokarka Venus is in Lagna with Moon. Moon Venus combination, even though Moon is 6th Lord, in general Moon Venus combination is an auspicious combination. And Moon and Venus is Yokarka. So Moon and Venus in Drekana Lagna, that shows that mental tensions will come to end sometime soon. Now the thing is, the Lagna Lord Saturn is in 3rd house. He is in debility. So basically Lagna Lord is weak. Lagna Lord is in debility. Even though he is with Mercury, that Mercury is basically Mars. There is a Parivartana. So Lagna Lord is being afflicted by a very strong Mars in Mulatrikona. Again. Right? So the thing is, from the point of view of applying the intelligence correctly, still the problem is mass. So mass needs to be propitiated for clarity of thinking. And secondly, like you suggested, basically worshipping sun may be a good idea for marriage, because sun is in the second house, seventh house. Seventh house is the basic marriage. First marriage, second marriage, forget all those things. In general, for marriage, seventh house is the key house. So looking at this and that, and more importantly, sun is exalted and he is aspecting Lagna. So my feeling is, I will say one thing. Vali Narasimha, actually, see, Venus and Mars combination worshipping Lakshmi Narasimha is a good idea, but that is to make Venus and Mars friendly and work together. But the thing is, let us actually drop that. What I suggest is, forget all that, just take Angaraka Kavacham. Angaraka Kavacham. Because now when Lagna and Lagna Lord are being afflicted, you need some kind of shield, protective shield. So a protective shield needs to be created around her. So just directly go to the planet. Angaraka Kavacham. Just read Angaraka Kavacham in her name. Tell her name. Read the Angaraka Kavacha as many times as you can for a couple of hours every day. If you have only an hour every day, do that as much as you can. And whenever you have free time, basically, suppose it's Saturday and you don't have, if you have children to take care of, fine, do it. But if you have nothing to do and you say, okay, let me see what's coming on TV, instead just sit down and chant. With that kind of single-minded focus, whatever is essential in life, do it. And anytime you are doing non-essential things, just think of her and keep chanting the mantra. If somebody can do with that kind of sincerity and that kind of single-minded focus, Angaraka Kavacham, my feeling is it will help. Another thing is, actually most remedies will work far more efficiently if they are done in fire. So the thing is, Angaraka Homam is one possibility. Angaraka Homam either with the Angaraka mantra, actually Angaraka mantra, Agnir Murdha Deva Kakutpati, or if somebody has problem with Veda mantra, simple Purana mantra, Dharni Garbha Sambhutam Vijitkan Samaprabham Kumaram Sikri Hastantam Mangalam Pranamiham. So read either do an Angaraka Homam every day or every Tuesday or like that, basically. Do a home for Angaraka, for Mars.
How about doing Angaraka Homam with 7,000 disciples being the number for?
Actually, the number given by Parashara is not thousands, it is actually lakhs. So, what I suggest is, do it regularly on a small count. If you just want to do 7,000 one time, basically what will happen is, like that people do. I see priests doing, because they have a target of count of 7,000 or 20,000 or some count. They don't do Om Agnir Murdha Deva Kakutpati Prathivya Ayam like that. They say, oh, Agnir Murdha Deva Kakutpati Prathivya Ayam Apangratam like that. Nothing will happen. I can guarantee you that nothing will happen if they read like that. Another thing, funny thing I see is, suppose they are doing Srisukta Homam, suppose their target is 16 times, first 15 times they will do like Om Hiranyavarnam Harani, like that they will do. Last time they will do Om Hiranyavarnam Haridim, basically as though they are relieved that it is the last time. So the thing is, that is why, because of this insincerity and this focus on numbers and all the secondary things, basically focus is on the secondary things and the primary thing is lost from the minds of people. Rituals don't work these days, and people basically lost their belief in rituals. This is why some people are like Vimalananda are so angry with the Brahmin community of today. So anyway, coming back to the point, I will suggest Dharni Garbha Sambhutam or Ajir Murdha Deva Kakutpati. With those mantras, do a homam to Angaraka, and if you put a target on one day, you will end up making a mess of it. Instead, do as much as you can, basically. Count doesn't matter. Time, put a time limit, basically half hour. How many hours? If you can do only 100 times, 100 times, 200 times, 200 times. Put a time limit. Half hour is my budget every day, I'll do. Or 1 hour is my budget every day, I'll do. So like that, basically, do a Angaraka Homam. At the end of the Homam, and you can download the manual from my website. And at the end of the Homam, basically sit, after giving the Purnahuti, sit and chant Kavacham. As long as the fire is going, fire keeps on going. Even after fire is extinguished, basically, you can sit in that place, because there is some presence there, there is some divine presence there. Chant Angaraka Kavacham. And if you can't find Angaraka Kavacham, I can actually bring it to the next class and I can record it so that it's there in the MP3. I can bring the book. So do Angaraka Homam and at the end chant Angaraka Kavacham. Angaraka Kavacham is typically not offered in fire. It is basically chanted. Kavachas are not offered in fire. So that is also very good. That is perfectly fine. That is also fine. Nrasimha Kavacham, Angaraka Kavacham, both are fine. But I think my feeling is a homam can give the results faster. But the bottom line is whoever is doing should have sincerity and he has to undergo some struggle as a part of that sadhana. Then basically once the threshold is crossed, then the result will happen. But based on the prashna, my gut feeling is the time may be soon basically for the problems to be solved. Now let us go back to astrology.
About fasting.
Fasting. From what angle? Children, marriage, or
No,
depression?
this problem to end.
Yeah.
Suggesting on Venus Friday. The reason when somebody, as you just said one point, doing it is just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
Feeling a loss and struggle in that is another aspect.
Yeah.
So the fasting really
Okay.
when somebody
Which is better for fasting? Is it do you have to propitiate Venus or Mars? Venus wants to help this person. It is Mars who is blocking him. So Mars needs to be satisfied. Mars basically has possessed her mind. So Mars needs to be brought under control. Mars needs to. You have to kneel down before Mars and say, please leave her. Basically, her mind has been possessed by Mars. Practically, Mars grahas, they enter and they possess a mind. They basically like they show spirit possession in movies. Grahas actually possess the mind. When a graha possesses the mind, those qualities fill you and you basically you can't think straight. Your mind is confused.
So fasting sunrise to sunset on Tuesday will be good.
Tuesday, in my gut feeling is Tuesday is a better day than Friday. So fasting on Tuesday, fasting on Tuesday is a good idea, and Angaraka Home is a good idea. Angaraka Kavacham, Nrasimha Kavacham, those are all good ideas.
So she is Hanuman devotee. I asked her to read Hanuman Chalisa
Fine, perfect. Anything for Mars.
because she can't do kavachas.
Yes, Hanuman Chalisa she can read. Actually, Hanuman Chalisa is not any less than all these kavachas. The thing is, she can't do long sadhana. She is probably doing one time or 10 times like that. If somebody can actually sit down in one place, do Hanuman Chalisa 108 times or 54 times every day, because it doesn't take that long. 108 days, 2 minutes each time. So 108 means something like 4 hours or 3.5 hours, depending on how fast you read. If you are reading 54 times, it can be done in 2 hours. So if you read Hanuman Chalisa, let's say 54 times every day, like that, suppose you do 108 days, definitely there will be some result because of it. If somebody is doing sincerely, there will be some result. So that can also be done. But my gut feeling is directly praying to Mars is a good idea. But yes, Hanuman Chalisa also. See, as many people as possible can be doing. She can be doing Hanuman Chalisa, you can be doing Nrasimha Kavacham, Angaraka Homam. Several people can do several things, and at the end, the mountain can be moved. Let's see the Tithi Pravesh. How is the current year?
I kind of thought like next year she may get married. This year may not be possible.
Okay, I'm not talking about. I'm not even worried about marriage. I'm worried about her life, her longevity, her mental state. That is what I'm worried about. Forget marriage. That is secondary, right? If somebody has tried 2 times to commit suicide within 1 year, within like 7 months, it is a really serious thing. That means the person's mind is not thinking straight. Basically, the person's mind is confused. So let us see the.
We didn't see the influence of. We evaluated that only from Venus and Mars.
Yeah.
If mind is so badly affected, that
See,
means
we saw the Trimsamsa. Moon and Mercury are affected by Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. So there is mental affliction, mental
it is
weakness.
not their period right now.
It's not period, but her mind is weak,
Mind is weak.
right? And now the dasha that is conducive to basically perverting her intelligence is running right now. So somebody with a weak mind is running a dasha which is perverting her intelligence. Mars is perverting Venus, perverting her intelligence. Yes, Venus dasha is running. But like I said earlier, Venus lost in a Grahyodha to Mars, and his dasha is running,
But should there not be a direct?
and he wants to kill the person. Huh?
Should there not be direct?
Not necessarily, not necessarily. Moon's weakness is enough to make the person a weak-minded person in general. A weak-minded and somebody who's prone to depression. And like I said earlier, Lagna Lord's defeat in Grahyodha to an arch enemy is not any less than any other weaknesses. That basically, that is a fundamental weakness in the chart, because Lagna Lord is what makes you think. So when that is being defeated, you are not able to think straight. So even if Moon is actually afflicted in Triptinamsa, even if not, if Lagna Lord was afflicted, let's say Lagna Lord was Sun and he was defeated in Grahyodha by Saturn, you can expect terrible things in life, especially when one of the two that has come, Sun or Saturn. So anyway, let's see the Tithi Pravesh chart quickly. This lady's, one sec. The 2009 Tithi Pravesh chart was on May 2. Gosh, again Mars Venus combination is on Lagna.
Who is the Hora Lord?
Venus. Venus is the Hora Lord. He is the 8th Lord in Lagna. Venus is the 8th Lord in Lagna. Mars is 9th Lord in Lagna. Basically, Mars Venus combination is on Lagna, just like in the natal chart. In the natal chart, Mars Venus are Venus is Lagna Lord and Mars is afflicting him. Here also, Lagna has Mars Venus affliction. And are they close? Not that close, but not that far either. 5 degrees.
But how is the effect, Mars being Maraka as well as a good protector being 9th Lord?
Here he is protector, but Venus is Maraka. But there is something messy going on. But what I am saying is, if you remember like earlier, any bad combination that occurs in the natal chart, when it occurs in the Tithi Pravesh chart also, you can expect some bad results. So the thing is, this Mars, don't think of him as 9th Lord. He is 9th Lord in this chart, but he is somebody who wants to kill her originally.
So that time Venus was protected, but here Venus himself.
Venus is trying to kill. So bottom line is, there is a problem. So this Venus period is a terrible period. May 19 to July 26. This is also the ruler of the year. So basically, when she tried to commit suicide, it was probably in the Venus period or something like that. Yeah, July 25th or something like that he is saying. So that is at the end, fag end of Venus Dasha. July 14 to July 26 is a terrible. I am today mixing up terrific and terrible. It's a terrible time. Venus, right? He is the ruler of the year, 8th Lord in Lagna. Not at all a good combination. Now, what else is going on in this chart? Moon is with Ketu, but there is some 8 degree distance. Okay, good. How is Trimsamsa this year? Trimsamsa is very, very bad. In the Lagna, on the Lagna Moon Mercury axis, Rahu Ketu are there. So there is, Mars is also there. So Mars Rahu Ketu affliction is there for both. Yeah, Shukla is also, ruler of the year is also afflicted. So basically this is a terrible year. Moon Dasha is the other Dasha that you have to be careful about, which has just started. Moon Dasha, because Moon is afflicted by Mars, 8th Lord in Trimsamsa, and aspected by Rahu and Ketu. And in the Rashi chart, he is the 5th Lord of emotional stability, afflicted by Ketu. Even though Ketu is at 9th Lord, bottom line is Ketu's affliction of Moon is not that good. Also Rahu is aspecting 12th Lord. From Moon, Rahu is the 8th Lord. Any interesting point? Lagna is Pisces. What time are you getting? 3:53, 38?
Lagna is Pisces for us. 33 watt from.
Maybe he is using different dynams. Oh, he has old one. Okay. Okay.
We are getting Pisces as Lagna here.
Pisces as Lagna. Okay, fine.
But the Lagna 7th axis has.
Okay. So Lagna, Moon, all the axis is the same. But now it's even worse. Venus happens to be 8th Lord in 7th. So Venus is even more dangerous. Okay. My gut feeling is Sun is okay. He's not bad. Moon is again a bad Dasha. Moon Dasha, she should be careful. And then that is the key period until October 4. But do you see marriage? But basically time is dicey for a while. So somebody should be giving her some optimism in life basically. Things will be fine like that basically. Some optimistic brainwashing needs to be done right now. And how is the Navamsha? Is there a scope for marriage this year? See, Lagna Lord is in the what is the Navamsha Lagna you are getting? Same, okay. So Lagna Lord is in the 12th house with Badhaka Lord, and Lagna has all these planets. It doesn't really, Lagna has 6th Lord, it doesn't really show strong potential for marriage during this year. How is next year? 2010. How is next year? Are you getting Gemini Lagna in the Navamsha or something else? Gemini? Okay. Ruler of the year is Sun, right? Okay, good, very good. This looks much better. Why? Why? 7th Lord in Navamsha is in 7th Lord in Navamsha is in Lagna with the ruler of the year. He has the year of the ruler of the year. Year meaning year of the ruler of the year. So it's basically like somebody, he has access to the ruler of the year, right, in Lagna. So ruler of the year also, Sun is the 3rd Lord of, basically a Kama Trikona. So from that point of view there is chance. How is the house of second marriage? Second marriage is shown by 2nd house, right? The Lord is Moon. He is with Mercury in UL. UL Lord Mercury is in UL. And Venus, by the way, the Dharakarka Venus as well as Kartakarka, Venus is aspecting the 2nd house, right? Venus is aspecting 2nd house. So there is potential for second marriage. And in Rashi chart, 7th Lord is in 7th house, Moon. 7th Lord Moon is in 7th house. What is a good possible time? In Rashi, Moon is the 7th Lord. In Navamsha, Moon is the second marriage Lord, 2nd Lord. So who can give marriage? Probably Moon. Can be Venus also, because Venus is aspecting the 2nd house. Of course, can be Jupiter also, but my guess is, my money is on Moon. Who is the ruler of the year? Sun. Okay, fine. Ruler of the year is Sun. Moon is in a Kendra from Sun in the Rashi as well as Navamsha. So he can give. So Moon Dasha is August 13 to October 6. So next year, August, there is a good chance. Of course, ruler of the year can accelerate things and can give. So Sun can give. He is in Lagna basically in Navamsha. So next July end and August and September, that period seems like a possible period. Of course, Venus can also give, but usually there are no muhurtas then. So most likely it will be next year. Next year there is a good chance. But the thing is, marriage is not the key. The key is mental happiness. For me?
By looking at the natal chart,
Yeah.
generally she won't be successful in the marriage. That's what I thought. Better not to get married. Like if she fails there, then it might be terrific.
Yeah. See, how is second marriage? Will it be smooth or not? Second marriage.
In general, I thought it's troublesome. Overall,
See, in general, 7th Lord in the 8th house Mars, marriage can be problematic. And in general, if you take the UL, so many planets in the 12th house from it, and Moon and Ketu combination in the Moon Rahu Ketu combination in the 2nd 8th axis from Upada is troublesome for marriage. But specifically look, pardon me, in the Rashi chart from Upada, 2nd house and 8th house have Moon Rahu Ketu axis. 8th house from Upada, 2nd 8th is basically Maraka for Upada. So Moon Rahu Ketu combination is not really that good. But specifically to see the second marriage, that shows in general marriages are not pleasant for her. If you see the 2nd house of second marriage as Lagna in the Navamsha, how are things now? See,
more than a year or something, that engagement.
so they got engaged and they were exchanging letters, etc. for more than 1 year. Okay, that is interesting. I hope this is the second marriage, because if you take second marriage of Cancer as Lagna, Venus-Mars combination in it is not at all good, right? And Venus is, even though he is Karaka, he is Badhaka Lord from that house. And most importantly, the Lord of that house, Moon, is eclipsed by Ketu. He is on the Rahu Ketu axis, right? So second marriage is not really, it's not really strong. So second marriage is not, it doesn't seem like a long marriage. And what about third marriage, if there is a third marriage? You see that from Kumbha, Aquarius. Will that be any better?
Guru has an aspect on
Yeah, Guru has an aspect on it. Its Lord is basically in third from it. It's not bad. It doesn't have any terrible combinations like the second marriage. First marriage is actually not too bad. The Lord Jupiter, even though he is in Manakarka Sthana, he is in a Kama Trikona, right? Unfortunately, the bad dasha, Ket dasha started, that is why problem started. But first marriage is not that bad. But in general, the weakness in the Rashi chart made the marriage fail, right? But second marriage is very bad. Third marriage seems okay. But like you said earlier, in the Rashi, the seventh Lord is in the 8th house. Upada has a lot of malefics on 2nd, 8th axis. So many planets in 12th house. So based on all these weaknesses, even third marriage may not be a great marriage, but it will be better than second marriage. It may be basically similar to first marriage.
Some tension. With some tension.
With some tensions. So whether she gets married or not, you guys decide. And if she wants to get married, next year seems like a good possibility. So all the best for that. And if she can say, well, who cares? I don't have to be married in order to live. If she can actually come into that frame of mind, that is perfect. That is probably the best result for her, best outcome for her. But don't force it on her. That realization has to come naturally in the person, because if
Person has a fear of getting into marriage.
then if somebody can educate her that marriage is not essential for life, for fulfillment in life, that can be helpful. But the thing is, whoever is working on her emotionally should realize that they shouldn't destabilize her. If she is basically, irrespective of what she says outside, if she has an attachment to marriage in her mind and think that unless I get married, my life is not fulfilled, unless I get married and raise a child, my marriage is not fulfilled. If she has such complexes, the person counseling her has to be aware of that. So work on the emotional part of it and make sure that she is on the right track and do some. But most importantly, all this is secondary. Her emotional state is not really very stable. Her intellectual judgment is not really very strong at this point of time, and also she is a weak-minded person. So do some remedies and work on her mental state. And like he suggested, diamond is not at all a bad idea. Wearing a diamond, especially on the right hand ring finger. Dharma basically. Dharma Trikona. Huh? Wear it on a Friday. So that can help her. Any other points you want to make? Any other comments? But based on the prashna, my gut feeling is there may be solution soon.
Just to recap on that, D3 is for future.
D3 is future, D9 is past, D1 is current. And also in the D9, there has to be, if you take D9 Lagna, there has to be some indication, some link with the chart of the person. Then you are going to get an answer. And in Rashi, if the Lagna Lord have a link with Jupiter, then you are going to get an answer. So proceed with these assumptions. And if Rashi, in Rashi,
you need for Jupiter influence.
yeah. Huh? What? Just Jupiter.
So D3 for future, D9 for past.
Yeah. See, Rashi Drishti, so many things are there. So there is a good chance that there is a good probability anyway.
And D1 for present.
D1 for present, yes. Yeah. I just made one more prashna, my style prashna, which basically is, if the 5 minutes sign based on the Hora, if that has Jupiter in a Kendra, then I gave my condition before. If Jupiter is in a Kendra from the 5 minutes sign, then basically whatever we said will work out for her and she will get out of her problem soon. And actually Libra happens to be the 5 minute sign in the Hora. Each Hora is divided into 12 parts, 5 minutes each. And you start from the sign owned by the Hora Lord. And you go basically, zodiacally. and you take the night side based on whether it is daytime or night time, because horas come both during day and night. You start with the day strong side or night strong side. So in the case right now moon is running, so you basically start from Cancer or Leo. For moon you take Cancer or Leo as the sign owned by moon. Similarly for sun. So you do that and you divide it into 12 parts and you get it. And you can see it in Jehora. Next to the Hora you see 5-minute sign. So Libra is the 5-minute sign right now, and Jupiter is in a Kendra from it. So it was just my criterion. I said if my answer is going to be useful to her, and if she is going to come out of problems soon, please put Jupiter in a Kendra from the 5-minute sign. And that happened. So my gut feeling is soon, basically within the next year or so, her problems may come to an end.
So in that case you had from Libra and Jupiter in 4th.
Yes.
So it's Kendra or Trine.
Yes.
What in the Prasna charts, Rasi Lagna Lord is itself Jupiter.
Pardon me?
That's perfect.
That's fine. That's fine. Then you can proceed. Yeah. Any influence of Jupiter on Lagna, you can proceed. Lagna having Jupiter, Lagna being aspected by Jupiter, Lagna Lord having Jupiter with him, Lagna Lord being aspected by Jupiter, all these things you can consider.
Lagna Lord being Jupiter himself.
Yes, absolutely. It is even better.
Should there be a criteria that he should be in a Kendra?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
No, not here. In general.
In general. No, he doesn't have to be in a Kendra. Okay. Any other questions? Any other points? Okay, so good luck to her. Yeah. In general, like I said, Homam is a very powerful remedy, especially if you have a problem with Mars. Homam is definitely, if you have a problem with fairy planets, Homam is definitely a fast track. So I strongly recommend doing Angaraka Homam in her name as frequently as possible.
Being a fairy sign, sir, don't you think by self burning,
Yeah.
won't it make the progress much faster?
By what?
Associating yourself to మిమ్మల్ని మీరు
Yeah.
by trying to impose some rules and regulations and
Yeah.
trying to be stringent or trying to be,
Yeah.
wouldn't that suggest something? నాకు అలా అనిపించింది.
I didn't get you. If you can repeat, I can answer.
అంటే
Putting conditions on himself.
Yeah.
అంటే ఉపవాసం లాంటి by having certain niyamas on yourself,
Yeah.
that I'm going to suddenly follow these.
Mm-hmm.
Puja also indicates that
Kuja is determination. So whatever you decide, basically put some niyamas and you're saying stick to them. Yes. You basically, the thing is, to satisfy Mars, you have to show some Martian quality. The thing is, Mars is putting his stamp on your personality. Now the thing is, you want to direct it from one area of life to another area of life. Then Mars will be happy, basically. That is all you are doing. In other words, in your house, somebody came and he is sitting in a wrong place. You are saying, can you please go there? And you are trying to move the person away. That is basically what you are doing in sadhana. So the thing is,
How is the Pratyingra prayer for this?
Pratyangira? Okay. Some people will suggest something like a Pratyangira Homam for this kind of thing, for relief from Mars. Pratyangira is basically she is approximately Narsimhi. Approximately, she is basically Narsimha Shakti. Approximately, she is basically lion-faced woman, lion-faced lady, and her home is very popular in some parts of South India, especially for Martian problems. That is but the thing is, Pratyangira is actually an Astra Devata. Pratyangira, if you do like Chandi Homam, for example, Chandi is a Devata, she is a mother, she is the form of the divine mother who will give certain quality to the person, to the sadhaka. Pratyangira is simply personification of an Astra, a weapon basically. She is a weapon personified. That weapon was used to cool down Narsimha when he was extremely agitated in one particular case. So you are basically, you are trying to propitiate a weapon That is done when there is a reason to actually use the weapon. So in other words, what I am trying to say is, most people who claim that they are doing Pratyangra Home today, they have no clue what they are doing. They have no idea what they are doing. They are just wasting their time. They are just fooling with it. I know that there are some priests who do Pratyangra Home every day, every year, one particular day at their temple. That kind of thing is different. They are not doing for a specific result. They are just doing. Let me put it this way. I actually wrote on Vedic-Wisdom some time back about this. It's basically like, imagine Pratyangra as a gun used by your mother, basically. Imagine whoever you look at as your mother, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Mahasaraswati, whoever it is, Chandi, Lalita, imagine her as your mother. And Pratyangra as a gun used by your mother in the past, so to kill some bad persons, to do some important work. And the gun is at home, and so that the gun basically stays fresh, you can basically wipe it every month or every year, you can wipe it and put it back. That is basically like a simple Pratyangra Home done at a temple by people who don't really want anything. But the thing is, if you actually have a result in mind, it is basically like you are using the gun, you are shooting the gun, you better know how to shoot it. And I dare to say that there are very few people who actually know how to shoot this particular gun called Pratyangra Home. And especially all these people who do, I know that, for example, there is a Kalikambal temple where they do Pratyangra Home every year on a particular day, but they don't use all this samagri like peppers, etc. They just use regular stuff. But they use the mantras, Pratyangra mantras from Vedas as well as from Tantra. That is perfectly acceptable, and they do with no specific result in mind, basically happiness of the mother. But people who throw all these chilies, peppers, green pepper, red pepper, black pepper, etc. into fire, and they believe that by doing this ritual, Mars will become happy and your enemies will be destroyed and your mental peace, you will get mental peace. They are just fooling themselves. They have no clue what they are doing. It is unfortunate karma for them actually. Mostly not for the people who are getting it done because they have no clue, but for the people who are doing it and who are making claims based on it, it is an unnecessary karma. There are a lot of things like this basically. Instead of, if you want an Ugradevata Upasana, just do Chandi Homa. Chandi is fairy enough. If you want to overcome your weaknesses, overcome your problems, overcome your enemies, just go and complain to your mother. Mother, that person is really irritating me every day. Do something about it. See, if you are a tamasic person, you will go and say, Mom, that person is an idiot. Please go and do something about him. Kill him. If you are sattvic, you will say, Mother, he is troubling me. I am not able to do my work. See the difference in the attitude. So depending on whether you are sattvic or rajasic or tamasic, you will do with a different attitude. And irrespective of which attitude you do with, depending on your Purapunya and depending on what the mother has in store for you, she will give you corresponding result. But Chandi is capable of doing that. So if you want an Ugradevata to take care of you, whether you are a sattvic person or rajasic or tamasic, you want to resort to an Ugradevata, resort to Chandi. That is good enough. Basically, it is like going to your mother. Yes.
That is, the person who is doing it, I fully agree with what you are saying that he should know how to use the gun.
Yeah.
But if the person is getting it done by somebody who is always using the gun, and that is the gun that works for him.
It doesn't work for him. That's what I am saying. He says it works for him. There are very few people for whom the gun of Pratyangra Home actually works.
That is difficult.
I am saying it. I declare it.
So the thing is, it is difficult to say whether the person what he is claiming is claiming the authentication of his claim.
That is why I am putting my foot down and saying, with Pratyangra Home, there is nobody who can actually make the gun work for you. He is just taking money from you and doing something. So because this is a rampant corruption in the tradition, that is why I want to put my foot down in this particular matter of Pratyangra Home. I in general don't discourage people from any homam, but this homam I discourage people. Another thing is, actually it is not even true that if you just go to somebody and say, okay, you are the one master of gun, so you do whatever you do. The thing is, he may actually play with the gun. 99% nothing will happen, but 1% he may actually shoot you by accident. That is possible. He may shoot himself or he may shoot you. So the thing is, you may go to some black magician or some tantric who claims he will do Pratyangra Home to destroy your enemies. He may actually harm himself or he may even harm you. Don't think that by going to a person, because you are innocent and you don't know anything, you are not doing anything, you will be safe. You may suffer because of it too. That is quite possible.
No, that's possible because thing is.
And most likely what will happen is either nothing will happen or one of you will suffer. What you want is unlikely to happen anyway with Pratyanga Homam. Welcome session. So that is my strong advice. It is one of the most abused and misunderstood things of today. People have no clue what Pratyanga is and what Pratyanga Homam is. So my suggestion is anybody who says I will do Pratyanga Homam to solve so and so problem, stay away from such a person, just in your own safety.
Because he not know how to use the gun.
Because he is almost sure to not know how to use the gun. Basically, almost sure. There are probably handful of people who know how to use it. Things like Bala, Atibala, Mahabala, that kind of Vidyas based on Gayatri. Things like Pratyanga. Pretty much nobody knows how to use them today. Which is for a reason. It is for a reason that those things have been corrupted. So stay away from such things. And definitely in this case I won't suggest Pratyanga Homam. If you want an Ugradevata basically to pacify Mars, Narsimha is fine, Chandi is fine. You can do that kind of things. You can do Chamunda, Mars and Saturn combination. You can do Chamunda. So you can do Chandi Homam. You can do I'm thinking Chamunda, or just instead of the Saptati you can do I'm thinking Chamunda. Those things are fine. But I will strongly recommend staying away from Pratyanga because she is somebody that was useful to Narsimha. She is not somebody meant for you and me. She is somebody meant for Narsimha. When Narsimha was agitated, to remove Narsimha's agitation, she was born. And she is personification of a weapon. She is not like a regular mother like Chandi or Chamundi or Kali or Lakshmi or Saraswati. She is a different person. She is a weapon. Stay away. Basically, stay away from missiles and guns. And go and pray to your mother. Use the gun and do something about my problem. Let her do it basically. If Pratyanga needs to be used for your problem, let Chandi do that for you. That is basically how I will put it. Let Kali do it for you. Don't directly approach Pratyanga and say, okay Pratyanga, go and do that. It's very unlikely that anything will happen. If anything happens, it may be bad for you. I know that there are some people around who do Pratyanga Homam, but I can guarantee you they have no clue what they are doing.
The reason I ask this because it is difficult to authenticate the claim.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
And two.
Yes, absolutely.
Assuming that the person knows, okay, you put a belief, you know that you put a trust, you know what he is doing is okay, you believe him. Because there is some place, anytime, there is some place where you have to believe somebody.
Yes, but the thing is, if the belief involves you to go to a place with a nuclear weapon, the person and you standing next to each other and detonating a nuclear weapon and targeting at some place, you better.
It is a matter of.
This is like that. Pratyanga Homam, if you ask me, or Mahabala Homam, for example, those are like that basically. Those are like detonating a nuclear weapon and targeting it somewhere, and you are going and blissfully standing next to the person who claims that he will do something. Like I said, 99% the person has no clue. He is just doing some. There's a lot of nice, hep-looking materials, lot of things going on, big fire. Nothing will happen basically. He basically has a nuclear weapon, but he doesn't know how to detonate. He is displaying something there. That is 99% possible. But in the 1% case that he has some clue but he doesn't fully understand, there will be an explosion and you will be destroyed in the explosion. That is the bottom line. That is why I say stay away from this kind of thing. If you are meant to learn this or if you are meant to meet somebody who really knows this, it will happen by itself. Such a person, if somebody is really a master of this, suppose, there will be probably a handful of people in the world today. They won't be walking around. If you are meant to meet one such person and if he is supposed to demonstrate something to you, he will take care of it. You don't have to actually use your intelligence to approach the person, ask the person, etc. He will do it for you, if that is destined for you. Otherwise, my suggestion is stay away. Anybody who says do Pratyanga Homam, stay away. I'm sorry for the strong opinion, but this is one matter where I am strong. I want to put my foot down and say this is wrong. Whatever is happening is wrong. So anyway, so my suggestion will be somehow or the other propitiate Mars.
simple approach is what we know.
Angaraka Homam, Narsimha, Subramanya, Hanuman Chalisa,
Tuesday by herself.
fast on Tuesday. Those things should solve her problem soon in a year. Okay. Any other points or questions? Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Sarve dharmika dhana jana sukhino bhavantu. Yavad bhumandale sanatana dharmo vardhatu visheshatah bhartakhande. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.